Mystery fiction. Well, technically, all fiction is mystery, right? So all of storytelling has a mystery element to it, okay? Because you are following along and you want to find out what happens at the end. So technically, it's all mystery fiction. It all has mystery elements to them, whether it's horror, science fiction, whatever. But then there is the specific genre that is mystery fiction, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Mystery fiction usually involves a death or some type of large crime. And what I mean by large crime is like a large amount of money stolen. Whereas a crime fiction story, the characters tend not to know each other, perhaps, but with mystery, they usually know each other, okay? They're usually family members or friends or neighborhood of people where they kind of know each other. It makes the story easier to tell because there's already a rapport there of people. So in mystery fiction, the people involved are usually going to know each other from the start, usually. It doesn't really have to involve cops or detectives or private eyes. A regular Joe can solve the crime in a mystery fiction story, but it does help if they know a cop or if they know a detective, because it helps getting clues for that average Joe easier. I mean, really, how else is some just regular guy supposed to find out certain clues? They can, but it might be more difficult to do so. So having a friend who is a cop or a journalist or someone who has access to questioning people and evidence is always more helpful to the protagonist in a mystery. But what I want to talk about is the structure of mystery fiction, and that's the most important thing in my opinion. So structure. So in mystery fiction, it's usually going to start out with a crime scene. Usually, not all the time, but usually. So the crime scene, it's usually going to involve a death, like I said, or some type of large crime. It's going to tell who died, what was stolen, right? There's going to be speculation about who done it, why it was stolen, what type of weapons did it, right? Are there any weapons lying around? What type of weapons do you think killed the guy? Was it a gun, knife, whatever? Is it there? Is it missing? Was it some type of object, you know, like a lead pipe, something like that? Is it missing? Is it there? Who do they think might have done it? They're gonna have to question other neighbors. If it's a non-murder scene, you know, what was stolen specifically? Was it jewelry? Was it money, right? If something is missing, who do you think would want to steal that, right? Are there any security guards that called out sick that night? Okay, so there's always going to be speculation right off the bat. Now the next part is probably the most important part in my opinion, and that is questioning the suspects, right? Because this is when the main protagonist, this is when the hero has to dive in and really start involving the other characters, right? They got to ask, all right, who do you think would do this? Who do you think would do that? They have to start questioning the neighbors, you know, family, friends, whoever. And this is important. This is very, very important actually, because this is when you're going to go into backstory, right? You're gonna find out who's good, who's bad, who's kind of playing both sides. You know, what's the reasoning that they might want to do it. This is also the part that you're gonna look for clues, right? So the hero is gonna find clues around certain buildings, certain houses. You know, certainly like an article of clothing, whatever it is. But this is the part that you're gonna find the clues. And also this is the part that the people are going to lie to you, right? So when you're doing your investigation and the hero is questioning people, right? They're gonna encounter red herrings and, you know, clues that lead somewhere, but they're false clues, they're lies. You know, people are really up to no good, right? So this is the part that you're going to find is very critical to the story, because it's going to express who the characters are, and more importantly, it's how your hero, right, decides to handle those lies and handle those clues. Next is the big twist, right? So this is the point in the story where after the crime scene and after you do the investigation, this is the part where the hero is going to find some type of evidence that leads them in a new direction, right? So it kind of like destroys everything that they found out in the past. So they thought one way, but with this new revelation, they find out, oh, well, everything that I thought of, you know, was true is now actually false. You know what I mean? So what am I going to do? It produces doubt to the main character. And that's important because it's going to keep the hero guessing, which means it's going to keep the reader guessing, right? So you want that. You want the reader to have doubt about what's going on, right? You want to always make them jumpy. It's like, oh, well, you know, you don't want the reader to find out who the killer is before the book ends, right? That's the whole point, because the reader is right there with you, and the reader is not stupid, okay? The reader wants to find out who actually committed the crime before the author gets to it. So providing doubt at this point is very critical. It's important because it's going to throw the reader off. And then at this point, the hero is going to find out new evidence, right? So they're at their doubtful stage, you know, they don't really know what to do anymore, and they come across some new evidence, right? They find something, they notice something that they didn't notice before. And when they notice this, it's going to make everything fall into place, and they're going to solve the case. And then after they find this new clue that's going to make them solve the case, right? So that's the climax, and then you're going to hit the resolution. And the resolution basically is, you know, solving the problem, solving the case, you know, who the criminal is. The criminal is finally found, okay? The criminal is finally convicted. Now, of course, there are many other facets that go into mystery fiction. If you want to check out a video I made, you can check out right here and right here.